Kang Dino. Mana Mbak rambut anak saya?
The story begins with a woman, alone in her room, gripped by intense fear. She had recently experienced something disturbing, the shadowy figures of a woman and a child sitting in the bathtub. This eerie incident took a toll on her mental health, and soon she was overwhelmed by a growing sense of paranoia. Every creak of the floorboards, every whisper in the wind made her feel like someone was lurking, watching her every move. Her childhood friend, Uni, was her only solace. Uni was a constant presence, reminding her to take her medication, explaining that without it, her hallucinations would only worsen. One evening, as the clock struck 6 p.m., the woman decided to prepare for a bath. She filled the tub with water and picked up her toothbrush. Suddenly, a loud scream shattered the silence. Uni rushed to her friend's apartment, only to find that it was too late. The woman had been brutally murdered, her body discovered in a pool of blood in the very bathroom that had once terrified her. The mystery deepened, and no one could explain who was behind the gruesome act. The story then shifts to Elma, who has just secured a position as the manager of an apartment building. She moves in with her younger sister, Mai, ready to start a new chapter in her life. However, the building is far from ordinary. While being shown around by the building's caretaker, Elma notices that the 6th floor is mysteriously closed off. The caretaker casually mentions that there is ongoing repair work, but something about his words raises a red flag in Elma's mind. Ignoring the oddity, Elma settles into flat number 301 with her sister. The caretaker and his wife inform them that they will be going on a short vacation, leaving Elma to manage any maintenance issues that arise. Her boyfriend, Ryan, who happens to be a police officer, warns her about the building's dark history. 2 women had died mysteriously in the apartment complex in the past, their bodies found dismembered with no signs of a weapon or clear evidence. Ryan urges Elma to report anything unusual to him immediately. As Elma tries to settle into her new life, Ryan reopens an old case about a woman who experienced strange occurrences every day at sunset for 4 consecutive days. This story remained unsolved, and the eerie happenings were never fully explained. Elma tries to focus on her work, but the unsettling atmosphere of the building begins to weigh on her. One day, Elma receives a complaint from a resident in flat number 509, reporting a persistent water leak in their bathroom. The resident mentions that a similar issue occurred in flat 510, where a woman had died under strange circumstances. Elma decides to inspect flat 510 along with the man from 509. Inside the flat, they discover severe water damage in the bathroom. The man plans to leave town for a few days, and Elma is left in charge of handling the situation. However, when Elma arrives back at the office, she finds that the maintenance staff has already left for the day, and the repairs will have to wait until morning. Determined to get to the bottom of the issue, Elma decides to investigate the mysterious 6th floor herself. She and Mai head to the elevator, but as they ascend, Elma's curiosity grows. Why is the 6th floor off limits, and what could have happened there? When they reach flat 610, the door to the apartment creaks open. A voice suddenly echoes through the hall. A woman introduces herself as Miss Carr. The voice grows more intense, and as the sisters approach the bathroom, Elma pushes the door open. What they see inside shakes them to the core, sending them running back to their apartment. The horrors they witnessed on the 6th floor would haunt them forever. The next day, Elma returns to work, trying to focus on her tasks, but as she picks up some pins from the floor, she is startled to see that they're inexplicably arranged into numbers. When she goes back to inspect the bathroom leak, she is shocked to find wet footprints leading her to the kitchen, where a little girl stands, staring at her. The girl runs into a room, and Elma cautiously follows her. Inside, a woman is combing her daughter's hair. But what Elma sees next is enough to make her scream. In the blink of an eye, the woman and child vanish, leaving Elma trembling in disbelief. Elma rushes to tell Ryan about what happened, but when they returned to flat 509, everything seemed normal. The strange occurrences leave Elma questioning her sanity. Could all of this be the result of stress, or was there something truly supernatural going on? Ryan investigates further, learning about the mysterious deaths and a woman named Miss Kunti who had been associated with the building. Meanwhile, the caretaker couple returns from their vacation and tries to calm the other residents, but the tension is palpable. Ryan presses the caretakers about flat 610, and after much hesitation, they reveal that 4 years ago, a mother and daughter had lived there. They left suddenly, and soon after, both of them died in a tragic car accident. Ryan's suspicions grow as he uncovers more details. The caretaker reveals a chilling account of a cleaner who had encountered strange voices in flat 610. When he investigated further, he found the mother and daughter in his own home, and soon after, he died under mysterious circumstances. The caretaker called the psychic for help, but even the psychic was powerless to stop the spirits. The caretaker's story becomes even more unsettling when he shares an ominous prediction from the psychic. Anyone who hears the words 4 days in sunset will meet a tragic end on the 4th day. Elma, who had heard the phrase, now realizes the gravity of the situation. The spirits of the mother and daughter were seeking revenge for something that had happened in the building, and Elma and Ryan were caught in the middle of it. Elma is left shaken after learning about the psychic's prediction, which claimed that anyone who hears the words 4 days and sunset would meet a tragic end on the 4th day. With only days left to uncover the truth, Elma is desperate to find answers. She turns to the caretaker for more information about the apartment's dark history. The caretaker, now visibly distressed, reveals that the woman and her daughter who had once lived in flat 610 were victims of a brutal conspiracy. 4 years ago, the young woman named Conti had been pregnant before marriage, and when her mother discovered the news, she became enraged. In a fit of anger, Conti's mother demanded that she have an abortion, but Conti refused. Her mother, unable to cope with the shame, threw her out of the house, disowned her, and severed all ties with her. However, that wasn't the end of Conti's suffering. The caretaker explains that after Conti moved into the apartment, she and her daughter had both been murdered by her own mother and her mother's accomplice, a man named Woolen. They had been tortured for 4 days before being brutally killed and dismembered. Their bodies were hidden inside the walls of apartment 610 to conceal the crime. The spirits of Conti and her daughter remained trapped in the building, haunting those who crossed their path. Upon hearing the shocking truth, Elma, Ryan, and Mai are horrified. The apartment had been kept closed to prevent anyone from discovering the gruesome secret buried within the walls. As Elma, Ryan, and Mai discuss their options, they decide to take action and return the mask, the one that had symbolized Conti's restless spirit, hoping it would bring peace to the vengeful souls. Meanwhile, Mai is having her own terrifying experiences. While practicing in her dance class, she notices something horrifying in the mirror. Her reflection is no longer in sync with her movements. It starts spinning in circles uncontrollably, and its eyes turn white, staring at her with an intensity that sends a chill down her spine. Mai's body begins to move on its own, no longer under her control. Just as she begins to panic, Elma arrives in time to pull her out of the trance. The dance teacher, witnessing the strange event, reveals that Mai has a third eye, an ability to see spirits. She confirms that two wandering spirits are attached to Mai, and she gives Elma the contact information for a powerful psychic who might be able to help. Back at the apartment, Ryan continues his investigation, diving deeper into the case files from 4 years ago. He hopes to find a connection between Conti's death and any other incidents that may have occurred in the building. His search leads to a chilling discovery. The woman who had been with Conti before her death had been a victim of the caretaker's manipulation and deceit. Ryan is determined to uncover the full extent of the conspiracy and put an end to the suffering of Conti and her daughter. Elma, Mai, and Ryan head to a remote village where they finally locate the elderly artist Sugang who had crafted the mask. When they show him the design, he recognizes it immediately. Sugang recalls that a wealthy woman had commissioned the mask for her daughter's dance performance. This leads them to the house of the woman who had once been Conti's mother. When they arrive, the woman flatly refuses to speak to them, but after speaking with the maid, the truth finally comes to light. Conti's mother had been deeply ashamed of her daughter's pregnancy and had ordered her to terminate the pregnancy. When Conti refused, her mother disowned her. The maid, however, had kept Conti's belongings hidden, unable to throw them away. Elma, Ryan, and Mai convince the maid to hand over the belongings, hoping that these items will help put Conti's spirit to rest. Among the items, they find the mask, the very mask that had become the symbol of Conti's torment. Armed with the mask and the truth, Elma and Ryan set off to return the mask to Tsukumo. But their journey takes a dark turn when they are involved in a car accident on their way to see him. The car tumbles down a hill, and when Elma manages to escape, she encounters a person wearing the same strange mask. The masked figure ties a cloth around her hand and begins pulling her, leading her into the unknown. Elma wakes up, realizing it was all a nightmare. However, the injury on her hand is real, and she sees the number 3 written on the wall, signaling that there is only 1 day left before the curse reaches its terrifying conclusion. Desperate to free herself and her loved ones from this nightmare, Elma packs her things and heads to Tsukumo's house. The psychic warns her that time is running out, but there is still a chance to bring peace to Conti's spirit. As Elma prepares for the final confrontation, she faces a race against time. The spirits of Conti and her daughter grow more restless, and their power becomes stronger with each passing moment. Elma, Ryan, and Mai must uncover the full truth about the murder and bring justice to the spirits before it's too late. The Haunted Apartment, Ms. K 2024, concludes with Elma, Ryan, and Mai uncovering the horrifying truth behind the haunting and facing a race against time to stop the curse. Can they escape the wrath of the vengeful spirits, or will they fall victim to the curse? If you're a horror lover, subscribe to the channel and let us know which recap you'd like to see next.